हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं मुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Dear devotees, you are all welcome.
Recording in progress.
For continuity of our Bhakti Vedanta study of 10th canto of Srimad Bhagvatam, and we are in chapter 10, Deliverance of the Two Twin Arjun Trees. So, we are in the next section from verse number 7 to 23. Response of Narad Muni on seeing the two sons of demigod Kubera, the treasurer of the demigods. The two sons were followers of Lord Shiva, and son of the rich man were very proud, puffed up, intoxicated with Varuni liquid and with the celestial girls enjoying within the sacred river Mandakini. Fully intoxicated, their eyes were rolling by the will of Sri Krishna, Yadricha. Devrishi Nard, the foremost saintly person, happened to pass by, and the girls immediately, out of shyness, covered their body, but the two sons were stunned, naked, not moving, and the Nard was singing that, do I curse them or shall I have mercy on them? So he thought of anugraha, mercy. And then this is the section where Nard is now speaking. So the verse number 8 to 12, dangers of wealth. Dangers of wealth means wealth give rise to the madness, and blindness, and become, and all these, both these things are due to pride. So now we are starting the verse number 8. Shri Narada Uvacha. Nahe anyo justo yo jokam buddhi bhranso rajo gunaha Srimada abhijatya adi yatra shri dyutam asava. Nahi anyo, there is no other. Justo joshyam. Justo and joshyam. Enjoyment in material world. What are the different? Eating, Prabhupada writes, there are things very attractive in the material world for enjoyment. What are they? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Buddhi bhranso, one's intelligence is completely destroyed. Buddhi bhransto. Buddhi, intelligence, and bhransaha attracts the intelligence. Destroy the intelligence. And what is that? Rajogun, it is the mode of passion. Srimada, that is riches. Riches give rise to the madness more than anything else. What are the other things that can give more madness or prideness? Abhijata, birth in some aristocrat family. Adhya, beauty. High education. These are four things, as Kunti Maharani says. Out of these four, beautiful body, high education, good parentage, and riches. All out of these four, Devrishi Nath says, it is the madness and prideness of the riches which is the worst. Among the four principal attractive personal body features, birth in the aristocrat family, being very learned and very rich. Yatra, wherever there is a wealth and give rise to the false pride due to the mode of passion, three things are there. Stri, woman, dyutam, gambling, which is higher than Stri, and asavaha, wine, that is higher than that. Why they are higher? This is Sanatana Goswami gives a little commentary. Narada Muni said, among all the attraction of material enjoyment, the attraction of the riches bewilder one's intelligence more than having beautiful bodily features, taking birth in an aristocratic family, and being learned. When one is uneducated but falsely puffed up by wealth, the result is that one engages his wealth in enjoying wine, woman, and gambling. Srila Prabhupada writes, among the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the people are certainly conducted by the lower qualities, namely passion and ignorance, and especially by passion. Generally, human beings, the passion is more. This earthly planet is for the mode of passion. Conducted by the mode of passion, one becomes more and more involved in material existence. Therefore, human life is meant for subduing mode of passion and ignorance and advancing in mode of goodness. This is Prabhupada's first observation landing at Boston Harbor, and he's completely engrossed by the mode of passion and ignorance. And then Srila Prabhupada wrote a song, what is called Markini Bhagavad Dharma in America. And here, these are the same verses Srila Prabhupada has, as it is quoted and translated in Bengali. And there is a one verse, Tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhadhyascha yacheta etai anaviddham sthitam satve prasidate. By regularly hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, the ignorance and passion, they diminishes and are destroyed. The passion leads to the greed and lust and greed, and ignorance leads to the madness, intoxication, sleep, and other things. When both these are controlled and the person is elevated to mode of goodness, then sattve prasiddhati, then he will be fixed in mode of goodness. That is the purpose of establishing ISKCON. This culture means elevating from the lower modes to the higher mode. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, the two lower modes has to be given up. One must rise between the above the two lower modes, ignorance and passion. But then gradually he should go beyond the mode of goodness to the Shuddha Sattva. But this culture, this is culture. One must subdue mode of passion and ignorance. This is culture. In the mode of passion, when one is falsely proud of wealth, one engages his wealth only for three things, namely wine, woman, and gambling. We can actually see, especially in this age, that those who have unnecessary riches simply try to enjoy these three things. In the Western civilization, these three things are very prominent because of an unnecessary increase of wealth. Narada Muni considered all this in the case of Mani Griva and Nala Kubar, because he found in them so much pride in the wealth of their father Kuber. Krishna book Srila Prabhupada writes, Narada said that the attraction for material enjoyment is due to an increase of the mode of passion. A person in material world, when favored by material opulences of riches, generally become addicted to three things: intoxication, sex, and gambling. Chakraparti Pad writes, for the man absorbed in enjoying justo, the attraction Joshyam of the material world, family, being learned, do not destroy the intelligence as much being intoxicated by wealth. In other words, the attraction of the riches completely destroy one's intelligence. Abhijati, birth in high family, generate excessive pride. Adi, knowledge means education, also gives rise to pride. Rajogun, since pride in wealth arises from mode of passion. Rajogun is mentioned in this verse. Pride in wealth induces one to commit many more sins than pride in family or knowledge. The various sins are mentioned in the following four verses: enjoying wine, woman, and gambling. Next verse we will go before Lagu Vaishno Toshni. On seeing they were blinded by pride and wealth, desiring to give a curse to destroy their wealth, Nard criticized wealth in 5 verses. One becomes proud from being born in a good family, abhijatasya. adhibhi. The word adi indicates knowledge and others. Vidya mado dhan madastatha chabhi jano madah madaete alipana alpita nam taeva hi satam damaha. Mahabharata. One can develop pride in knowledge, wealth, or birth. The devotee who are uncontaminated by these have control of their mind. Mahabharata. If one has pride in wealth, because other items follow, one becomes most bewildered. Since these things become great cause of lust and anger, because this is mode of passion which leads to the lust and anger. These two are criticized in Bhagavad Gita. Kamesha krodesha rajoguna samudhava mahashano mahapapma vidya iya verena. So Sanatana Goswami Pad writes, where there is pride in wealth, there will be anger. Or when there is a pride in wealth, with attachment to various objects, anger, etc. arises. Women are mentioned first. Why? Since they are the root of all faults. Or starting with woman, successfully greater cause of anartha is listed. Gambling is superior to woman as cause because of suffering caused by quarreling and loss of money. So where there is gambling, there is a quarrel and there is loss of money. Intoxication is superior to that. Why? Because one loses all interest in protecting the body. He destroys his own body by intoxication. Verse number 9. Hanyante pashvo yatra nirdai ajitatmabhi manyamanai imam deham ajara mrityo naswaram. Unable to control their senses, rascals who are falsely proud of their riches or their birth in aristocratic family are so cruel to maintain their perishable bodies, which they think will never grow old or die. They think we are deathless and we are ageless, deathless. They kill poor animals without mercy. Sometimes they kill animals merely to enjoy an excursion. Srila Prabhupada writes, when the mode of passion and ignorance increase in human society, giving rise to the unnecessary economical development, the result is that people become involved with wine, woman, and gambling. Then being mad, they maintain big slaughterhouses or occasionally go on pleasure excursion to kill animals. Hunting, slaughterhouses. Forgetting that, however one may try to maintain the body is subject to birth, death, old age, and disease. Such foolish rascals engage in sinful activities one after another. And they are classified being dushkirti. They are dushkrita. They completely forget the existence of this supreme controller, who is sitting within the core of everyone's heart. Ishwar Sarvabhaumanam Hirdesha Arjun Tishtati. That supreme control is observing every bit of one's activity, and he rewards or punishes everyone by giving one a suitable body made by material nature. Brahmayam yantra rudhani mayaya. In this way, sinful person automatically receive punishment in different type of bodies. The root cause of this punishment is that when one unnecessarily accumulates wealth, one becomes more and more degraded, not knowing that his wealth will be finished with his next birth. न साधु मन्य यतात्मनो अस्मिन् अयम असन अपि कलेश आस देह. Animal killing is prohibited. Even every living being, of course, has to eat something. Jivo. One living entity eat another living entity. But one should be taught what kind of food one should take. Therefore, the Isha Upanishad instruct Tena tektena bhunjitaha. Bhunjita means eating actually. And what is the next reason? One should eat whatever is allotted for human being. Isha Vashaidam. Ten tekto bhunjita. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yemi bhakta prashati tadam bhakti pratam ashnami priyatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. A devotee therefore does not eat anything that would require slaughterhouses for poor animals. Rather, the devotee take prasad of Krishna. Tena tyaktena bhunjitaha. Krishna recommends that one gives a patram pushpam phalam toyam. Animal food is never recommended for human beings. Instead, a human being is recommended to take prasad, remnants of the food left by Krishna. Yagna sishtasana santo muchyante sarvakilabachay. Whatever left after offering in the sacrifice or after offering to the Lord, the remnant should be offered. It should be honored. Even if there is some little sinful activity involved, one becomes free from the result of sinful acts, because everything we eat is also in one sense. So there is something involved in that. Krishna book. Materially being puffed up with accumulation of wealth also becomes so merciless that they indulge in killing animals by opening slaughterhouses. After they think that they themselves will never die, such foolish person, forgetting the law of nature, become overly infatuated with the body. Although one sees old age and death before his eyes, he continues to think he will never die. He thinks they have ageless body and deathless body. This is their foolishness. This condition produces great sins such as violence or betrayal to others. Such condition means pride in wealth. Produce great sins such as violence means killing animals, slaughterhouses, and betrayal to others and cheating others. For pleasure of eating, animals are killed. There is no consideration of what is proper or improper to eat. They are merciless because they cannot control their senses. Thus they think that body, whose nature is to age and die, which is subject to destruction because of change at every moment. This ageless and deathless. Everywhere is ageless. They think it is ageless and deathless. The commentary says that they think they have an ageless body and a deathless body, combined as a dvandva compound. Verse number 10. Deva sangitam apyante krami vidabhashma sangitam bhuta druktat krite swartham kimaveda nirayo yataha. Nirayo means hell. So what is going to be the end of the body? It may be of the demigod or minister. It will be three things. And these three things are krimi, vid and bhashma. Krimi means worm, Vid means stool, and Bas means ashes. May be proud of one's body, thinking one's a very big man, minister, president, or even demigod. But whatever one may be, after death, his body will turn either into worms or into stool or into ashes. If one kills poor animals to satisfy temporary whims of this body, one does not know that he will suffer in his next birth. For such a sinful miscreant must go to hell and suffer the result of his actions. Nirya means hell. Srila Prabhupada writes three words, Krimi, Ved, Bhasma are significant. After death, body may become krimi, which means worms. How? For if the body is disposed of without cremation, it may be eaten by worms, or else it may be eaten by animals like ducks and vultures and be turned into the stool. Those who are more civilized, this is what Prabhupada's one comment, those who are more civilized burn the dead bodies. They burn the dead body. And thus it becomes ashes, bhasam sangitam. Yet, although the body will turn into the worm, whose stool or ashes, foolish person just to maintain it commit many sinful activities. This is certainly regrettable. The human form of body is actually meant for jivasya tattva jigyasa. Because we are living, we should know about the absolute truth. Enlightenment and knowledge of a spiritual value. Therefore, one must seek shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Tasmad gurum parpadye, one must approach a guru. Who is a guru? What is his qualification? Shabde Shabde Parecha Nishnatam. 11th canto, 3rd chapter, 21 verse. A guru is one who has full transcendental knowledge. Shabde means Veda. Pare means transcendental. Nishnat means completely expert. He has full transcendental knowledge. Unless one approaches spiritual master, one remains in ignorance. Acharyavan Purusho Vedaha. Chandogya Upanishad says, one has full knowledge about life when one is Acharyavan. And what is the meaning of Acharyavan? Controlled by Acharya. Controlled by Acharya is Acharyavan. But when one is conducted by Rajogun and Tamogun, one does not care about anything. Instead, one acts like an ordinary foolish animal, risking his life, mrityu sansar vartamani, and therefore continuing to go through the suffering after suffering. Nate vidu swarth gatim hi Vishnu. Such a foolish person does not know how to elevate himself in this body. Instead, he indulges in sinful activities and goes deeper and deeper into the hellish life. Krishna book. They, proud due to richness, forget that the material body, even though very much advanced in civilization, up to the position of demigod, will finally turn into the ashes or stool. And while one is living, whatever the external condition of the body may be, within there is only stool, urine, and various kinds of worms. Thus, being engaged in jealousy and violence to other bodies, materialists cannot understand ultimate goal of life. Without knowing the goal of life, they generally glide down to the hellish condition in their next life. Such foolish persons commit all kinds of sinful activities on account of temporary body, and they are even unable to consider whether the body actually belongs to them. Now, to whom the body belongs, the next verse. Chakravarti Pad writes, a man may be king, Deva Sangyata, But after death, he is eaten by dogs and other creature. If his son do not burn him, he is eaten by worms and transformed into the worm stool. If he is burned, he becomes ashes. One who willfully kill poor animals does not know he will be punished for that killing and sent to hell. Swartham means one's benefit. Verse number 11. Deyakimana dhatu swam. To whom this body belongs. Deyakimana dhatu mato eva cha, father or mother nature. Mato eva mato pito va, maternal grandfather. Or balina, one who has controlled the body by his force. Kretor agneha shano apiva. Word for word meaning is so big. Let us see. This body there. Kim anna dhatu. Does it belong to the employer who gives me the money to maintain it? Kim anna dhatu means one who gives the money by which we buy the grains, and by that this body is maintained. Aswam, or does it belong to me personally? Or Nishiketu, or does it belongs to the person who discharged semen, which means father? Matu eva, or does it belong to the mother who maintained this body within her womb? Cha and Matu Pitova, or does it belong to the father of the mother? Because sometimes the father of the mother takes a grandson as an adopted son. What is this called? By the way, this is in 4th canto. Anybody knows this story? A daughter is given to a eligible boy on the condition that the offspring will be adopted by maternal grandfather. This is called this is in chapter 4. Oh, sorry, canto 4. First chapter.
Is it Putrika Dharma?
Putrika Dharma, what is that? And what is
He
this?
gives the daughter to the person on the condition that the child born first should be given to him back.
What is the story behind this Putrika Dharma? Name the 3 daughters of Swayambhu Manu.
Yagya, I think the
Akuti, Prasoti, Devoti.
So Akuti married to whom?
Ruchi.
Druchi Prajapati, yes. And the condition was Putrika Dharma. And she gave birth to Yagya. And Yagya was adopted by Swayambhu Manu. Usually, if the father has no son, he has only daughter, then he will adopt the son of the daughter. But in this case, Manu has 2 sons already. Utanpad and Priyavrat. Why he accepted Putrika Dharma? Because he knew that the son of my daughter is Supreme Lord Yagya. And there is another word similar, it's called Kanya Shulk. Putrika Dharma, Kanya Shulk. When daughter is given, the promise is taken that his son will inherit the property or kingdom or whatever. That's called Kanya Shulk. Kekai's father asks Maharaj Dasrath that I am giving you this daughter because you have no son. It means now if you have my daughter's son will be the next emperor, next king of the Ayodhya. Only Dashrath was knowing this. Kekai knew this. Ramchandra, Supreme Lord, he knew that. And therefore, Ramchandra designed this whole that my father's words should be true, and I arranged that the throne should be given to Bharat. Nobody say my father has broke the promise. Okay. Okay, so just Matu Eva. Okay. Because sometimes the father of the mother takes a grandson as an adult. Okay. Balinaha means, or does it belong to the person who takes this body away by force? Like there was a tradition of selling the poor people to the rich man as a servant, gulam. Kretuhu, or to the person who purchases the body as a slave. There's a slavery. Kretuhu. Agnehe, or to the fire, because ultimately the body is burned. Shunaha, or to the dogs and vulture, ultimately they eat the body. So to whom this body belongs? The next verse will tell actually it belongs to, that will be next verse. While alive, does this body belong to its employer, to the self, or to father, the mother, or mother's father? Does it belong to the person who takes it away by force, or to the slave master who purchases it, or to the sons who burn it in the fire? Or if the body is not burned, does it belong to the dogs that eat it? Among many possible claimants, who is the rightful claimant? Not to ascertain this, but instead to maintain the body by sinful activity is not good. Krishna book. Generally, it is said that the body belongs to the person who feed it. One might therefore consider whether the body belongs to one person to whom one renders service. The master of the slave claims full right to the body of the slaves because the master feeds the slaves. It may also be questioned whether the body belongs to the father, who is the seed-giving master of the body, or to the mother who developed the child's body in her womb. Foolish persons are engaged in committing all sorts of sins due to misconception of identifying the material body with the self. But one should be intelligent enough to understand to whom the body belongs. A foolish person indulges in killing animals to maintain the body, but he does not consider whether the body belongs to him or to his father, to mother, to maternal father, sometimes the father gives his daughter in the charity to a person with a view of getting back the daughter's son as a son. The body may also belong to the stronger man who forces it to work for him. Sometimes a slave's body is sold to a master, and from that day on the body belongs to the master. And at the end of the life, the body belongs to the fire, because the body is given to the fire and burned to the ashes. Or the body is thrown into the street to be eaten by the dogs and vultures. Before committing all kinds of sin to maintain the body, one should understand to whom this body belongs. This verse shows that many contradiction arises from not understanding the rightful owner of the body. Is the body one's own asset, though it belongs to an employer, father, mother, etc.? One cannot determine who owns the body. Contrary conception arises. Does the body belong to? This is the same thing almost. Okay, verse number 12. Evam sadharanam deham avyaktaha prabhavaya payam ko vidvan atmasat kirtva hanti jantum rite asattaha. In this way, sadharanam, common property, deham, the body, avyakta, from unmanifested nature, prabhava, manifested in that way, apayayam, and again merge with the unmanifested. For dust thou dost, for dust thou art, unto dust shall thou return. Kaha, who is that person? Vidwan, one who is actually in knowledge. Atmasat kartva, claiming as his own. Hanti, kills. Jantum, poor animal. Rite, except. Asatta, rascal, who have no knowledge, no clear understanding. This body, after all, is produced by unmanifested nature, and again annihilated and merged into the natural elements. Therefore, it is common property of everyone. Under these circumstances, who but the rascal claims this property as his own, and while maintaining it commits such sinful activities as killing animals just to satisfy his whims. Unless one is a rascal, one cannot commit such sinful activities. Srila Prabhupada writes, atheists not believe in the existence of the soul. Nonetheless, unless one is very cruel, why should one kill animal unnecessarily? The body is manifestation of combination of matter. In the beginning, it was nothing, but by the combination of the matter, it has come into existence. Then again, when combination is dismantled, the body will no longer exist. In the beginning, it was nothing. In the end, it will be nothing. Why then should one commit sinful activities when it is manifested? It is not possible for anyone to do this unless he is rascal number one. Krishna book. Ultimately, it is concluded that the body is product of material nature. Who owns body? Material nature. And at the end, it merges into the material nature. Therefore, the conclusion should be that body belongs to material nature. One should not wrongly think that the body belongs to him. To maintain a false position, why should one indulge in killing? Why should one kill innocent animal to maintain this body? Chakravarti Pad writes, this body arises from and merges into pradhan. So ultimately the nature is pradhan, the material cause of the universe. Who but an ignorant person, asattaha, will accept such a body as one's own, tasmat kirtva, and commit violence to animals? Oh, Krishna. Okay, we started Krishna book over. Now we are going to hear. What wise person, Vidwan, knowing the as mentioned above, sadharanam, understanding that it is simple appearance and disappearance from the state of invisible pradhan, avyakt, would kill other beings, thinking the body to be the self, atmasat. The materialistic person, even knowing this, would kill others. And Sanatana Goswami Pad writes, the body depends on the appearance and disappearance of pradhan, avyakt. One should consider that Atma separate from the impermanent body, or the appearance and disappearance arise from the Lord, avyakt. Thus the body is not independent. Thus one should think of Atma. The wise man knows this. Or what ignorant person, a Vidwan, would kill another being? For even he sees the suffering of being which is killed. That will be explained later. Only a person intoxicated with wealth would do so. Verse number 13. Next, 13 to 18. Solution, benefit of property. Now, Narad this is the ignorance of a proud, puffed up, intoxicated person due to wealth, thinks body as everything, and does four sinful things now: woman, wine, intoxication, and animal killing. Verse 13. Solution. Solution is poverty. And then what are the benefits of poverty? That is 13 to 18. Asatta Srimadandhasya Daridarayam Param Anjanam. Asatta means such foolish person, rascal. Srimad Andha, he is blinded by wealth. Daridram, to be poor. Paramanjanam, the best medicine, ointment. Why? Atmopmeyena bhutani daridram param ikshate. Because now the poverty-stricken man knows this suffering, and then he compares with his own suffering, and he will not give suffering to others. And he see all this. Asat, such a foolish rascal. Srimad Andhasya, one who is blinded by temporary possessing riches and opulences. Daridryam, poverty. Param Anjanam, the best ointment for the eyes, by which to see things as they are. Atma Upmeyena, with comparison to himself. Bhutani, living beings. Daridra, poverty stricken. Param, perfectly. Ikshate, can see things as they are. Atheistic fool and rascal Asatta, who are very much proud of wealth, Dhanmadanda, fail to see things as they are. Therefore, returning them to poverty is the proper ointment for their eyes, so they may see things as they are. At least a poverty-stricken man can realize how painful poverty is, and therefore he will not want others to be in full condition like his own. Srila Prabhupada writes, even today, if a man normally poverty-stricken gets money, he is inclined to utilize money to perform many philanthropic activities like opening a school for uneducated men and hospital for disease. Because when he was poor, he was suffering because of no education and because of no medical facilities. So now he wants to give other. In this connection, there is an instructive story called Punar Mushtiko Bhava. Everybody knows this story. Again become mouse. A mouse was very much harassed by cat, and therefore the mouse approached the saintly person to request to become a cat. When the mouse became cat, he was harassed by dog. And then when he became dog, then he was harassed by tiger. But when he became tiger, he stared at the saintly person. And when saintly person asked him, "What do you want?" the tiger said, "I want to eat you." Then the saintly person cursed him, saying, "May you again become a mouse." So Narad wants to make Nal Kuber and Money Grieve again mouse from the opulent rich position. A similar thing is going on all over the universe. One is going up and down, sometimes becoming a mouse, sometimes a tiger, and so on. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Brahman Bhramite koi bhagivan jeev. Living entities are promoted and degraded by the law of nature. But if one is very, very fortunate, by associating with saintly person, he gets the seed of devotional service and his life becomes successful. Narad Muni wanted to bring Nal Kubar and Mani Griva to the platform of devotional service through poverty, and thus he cursed them. Such is the mercy of a Vaishnava. Unless one is brought to the Vaishnava platform, one cannot be good man. Harao abhaktasya kuto mahad gunan. And a Vaishnava never become a good man. However, severely he is punished. Krishna book. Is infatuated with the false prestige of for any moral instruction, but indulge in wine, woman. In such circumstances, a poverty-stricken man is better situated because a poor man thinks of himself in relation to others' bodies. A poor man often does not wish to inflict injuries upon other bodies because he can understand more readily that when he himself is injured, he feels pain. Therefore, the great sage Narad considered that because the demigod Nal Kubar and Manigriva were so infatuated with false prestige, they should be put into condition of life devoid of opulence. This verse gives the remedy for the sickness of pride and wealth. Param here means only. Poverty is the only medicine. Param Anjanam. To relieve a person from the blindness arising from pride and wealth. Atheistic fools and rascals who are very much proud of wealth fail to see things as they are. Therefore, returning them to poverty is the proper ointment for their eyes, so they may see things as they are. At least a poverty-stricken man can realize how painful poverty is, and therefore he will not want others to be in painful condition like his own. Almost same as Srila Prabhupada. There are other ways of benefiting other type of materialistic, but for the person blinded by pride, in this wealth, there's only one way, poverty. This is the best ointment for the blind. According to the principle that cure the opposite for the cause. Nidana means treatment. Viparya means opposite. Nyaya means rule. The rule is opposite will cure the disease. Sanatana Goswami Pad writes, for others who have bad conduct, there is something to benefit them. For a person blinded by wealth, poverty is a benefit. It is best ointment. The doctor's remedy for blindness is to give the opposite. Thus, poverty is suitable for intoxication with wealth. One then consider others' happiness and distress as one experience it oneself. Thus, he does not cause suffering to others. Poverty should make one compassionate, just as pride in wealth makes one uncompassionate. This person will not kill animal. So, a proud, wealthy person is uncompassionate, and a poverty-stricken person is compassionate. Therefore, Brahman always want to be in poverty. Therefore, they have a compassion. That is their greatest rich. The greatest richness of a Vaishnava or a Brahman is compassion. Yatha kantaka vidhango janto nechati tam vyatham jiva samyam gato lingai natha vidha kantakaha. If somebody has a thorn, then thorn can only be taken by needle. You have to take out thorn by needle. So pain of the thorn can be cured by the pain of needle. By seeing their faces, one whose body has been pricked by pins, can who are pin pricked. That this pain is the same for everyone. He does not want others to suffer in this way. But one who has never been pricked by pricked by a pin cannot understand his pain, this pain. There is a saying, Prabhupada writes, happiness of wealth is enjoyable by a person who has tasted the distress of poverty. There is also another common saying, Vandhya ki bujheba prasava vedana. A woman who has never given birth to a child cannot understand the pain of childbirth. Unless one comes to the platform of actual experience, one cannot realize what is pain and what is happiness in this material world. The law of nature acts accordingly. If one has killed an animal, one must be killed by that same animal. This is called mansa. Mam means me and sa means he. Mansa. Mamsa. Mam means me, sa means he. As I am eating animal, that animal will have the opportunity to eat me. In every state, therefore, it is ordinarily the custom that if a person commits murder, he is hanged. Krishna book. A person who has pin prick in his body does not wish others to be pricked by pin. A considerate man in the life of poverty does not wish others to be so put into that condition. Generally, it is seen that one who has arisen from the poverty-stricken life and become wealthy creates some charitable institution at the end of his life so that other poverty-stricken men might be benefited. By seeing the symptom lingai of one in pain, such as withering of a face, or by having experienced it oneself, one understands the nature of pain and thereby sympathize with anyone experiencing pain. One who has not experienced being pierced by a thorn or with the kantakai cannot understand the pain of others who are pin pricked. The reason is given. What is the reason? One does not desire that the pain experienced by another being whose limb is pierced by a thorn should continue, since by seeing the symptom like contorted face, one attains a similar state of pain. Remembering one's own pain, one manifests mercy. Avidha kantakai means person who has not been pierced by a thorn. The members of the compound are reversed as in Rajdanta, principal tooth. Or it can mean a person to whom thorns are not attached. Sanatana Goswami Pad writes, one who is not being pierced by the thorn does not desire the pain of living being pierced by thorn. Though one develops sympathy for another person by seeing symptom in the person's limbs, he does not become similar to the person pierced, but desires that a poor man seeing his own suffering sees such suffering in others. Verse 15. Daridro niharam stambo muktah sarva madai iha kracham yadrichapnoti tadhiyatasya param tapah. Poverty-stricken men must undergo austerities and penance because he does not have the wealth to possess anything. Thus his false prestige is vanquished. Always in need of food, shelter and clothing, he must be satisfied with what is obtained by the mercy of providence. Undergoing such compulsory austerity is good for him because this purify him and completely free him from false ego. Benefit of poverty. Srila Prabhupada writes, a saintly person voluntarily accepts a state of poverty just to become free from material false prestige. What do you think? A saintly person voluntarily accepts a state of poverty just to become free from material false prestige. Example, many great kings left their princely standard of living and went to the forest to practice austerity according to Vedic culture just to become purified. But if one who cannot voluntarily accept such austerity is put into the situation of poverty, he automatically must practice for austerity. Austerity is good for everyone because it frees one from material condition. Therefore, if one is very much proud of his material possession, putting him into poverty is the best way to rectify his foolishness. Daridra dosha guna nasi, guna rasi nasi. Daridra dosha guna rasi nasi. When a person is poverty stricken, naturally his false pride is in aristocracy. Wealth and education and beauty is smashed. Daridrya means poverty, dosha means faults, guna, rasi means whatever the good qualities are, nasi means are finished. Because of the fault of poverty, all the conditions which give rise to pride are completely smashed. Thus, corrected, he is in right position for liberation. In short, Srila Prabhupada writes in Krishna book, a compassionate poor man may consider others' pain and pleasure with empathy. A poor man is seldom puffed up with false pride, and he may be freed from all kinds of infatuation. He may remain satisfied by whatever he gets for his maintenance by grace of the Lord. A poor man automatically practices detachment and liberation from the material existence. This is expressed in 3 verses. The poor man is devoid of false prestige that comes from possessing wealth, niraham stamba, and free from pride in the family and education. The poor man is devoid of arrogance arising from the pride in wealth, naharaham stamba. Stamba means pride. It's a person who is standing like a pillar. It means proud. He is freed from agitation of the heart arising from things related to wealth. Sarva madahi muktaha is freed, mukta, from all of wealth. He experiences suffering such as lack by nature of poverty, yadrichaya. That suffering is the best austerity because it destroys the pride. Like the best type of austerity, poverty cannot be the cause of pride. Verse 16. Nityam shutaksham dehasya daridarasya annakankshana indriyani anusushyanti insapi vinivartate. He has nothing to eat, so his senses will be automatically controlled. No more agitation, no more violence. Always hungry, longing for sufficient food, a poverty-stricken man gradually becomes weaker and weaker, having no extra potency. His senses are automatically pacified. A poverty-stricken man, therefore, is unable to perform harmful, envious activities. In other words, such a man automatically gains the result of austerity and penance adopted voluntarily by the saintly persons. Srila Prabhupada writes, according to the opinion of experienced medical practitioners, diabetes is a result of voracious eating and tuberculosis is disease of undereating. We should desire neither to be diabetic nor to be tubercular. Yavad artha prayojanam. We should eat frugally, and keep the body fit for advancing in Krishna consciousness. As recommended elsewhere in the Srimad Bhagvatam, kamasya indriyahi prati lobha jiveta. So, what is this actually? This says the religious practice is not for sense, not for earth or wealth, but the dharma is for upward or liberation. Then why should we have wealth? Do we have wealth for sense enjoyment? No. Artha dharma, it is for religious purpose. Then why should we have sense enjoyment? Jivan nirvah, to live. Why should we live? Tattva jigyasa. These are the verses. Jigyasa arthao yas sacheda karam bhi. The real business of human life is to keep oneself fit for advancement in spiritual realization. Human life is not meant for making the sense unnecessarily strong so that one suffer from disease and one increases and is one increase it. In this age of the Kali, however, human civilization is so misled that people are unnecessarily increasing in economical development, and as a result, they are opening more and more slaughterhouses, liquor shops, and brothels. In this way, the whole civilization is being spoiled. Krishna book. To remain in the poverty-stricken condition is a kind of austerity. According to the Vedic culture, therefore, Brahmanas, as a matter of routine, keep themselves in poverty-stricken condition to save themselves from the false prestige of material opulence. False prestige due to advancement of material prosperity is a great impediment for spiritual emancipation. A poverty-stricken man cannot become unnaturally fat by eating more and more. And on the account of not being able to eat more than he requires, his senses are not very turbulent. When the senses are not very turbulent, he cannot become violent. Of this suffering is that he control his senses. What suffering? Not having too much to eat. So then his senses will be under control. Desiring food, such person completely dry up their senses. This means that they become disinterested in the taste of sense objects. Thus they give up violence to the others for the purpose of enjoying the sense object. By pride in wealth, one loses control of the senses and leads to violence. When the opposite condition, poverty, occurs, violence disappears and one gains control of the senses. Verse 17. Daridrasyaiva yujyante sadhava samadarshanaha sadabhi kshanoti tam tarsham tatarada vishuddhyate. Saintly person may freely associate with those, but not with those who are rich. By association with saintly person, very soon in material desires and dirty things within core of his heart are cleansed away. Srila Prabhupada writes, it is said, Mahad Vichalnam Niranam Grahininam Dina Chetasam. This is about the Garg Muni we have read in chapter 8. The only business of saintly person or sannyasi, a person in non's order, is to preach Krishna consciousness. Sadhu, saintly person, want to preach to both the poor and rich, but the poor take more advantage of the sadhu's preaching than the rich do. Why? The poor man receives sadhu very quickly, offer them obeisance and tries to take advantage of their presence, whereas the rich man keep a big greyhound dog at the door so that no one can enter his house. He posts a sign saying, beware of dog, and avoid the association of saintly persons, whereas the poor man keeps his door open for them and thus benefit by their association more than rich man does. Because Narad Muni in his previous life was the poverty-stricken son of maid servant, He got the association of saintly persons and later became the exalted Narad Muni. This was his actual experience. Therefore, he is now comparing the position of a poor man with that of a rich man. Satam prasangam mama virya samvido bhavanti hirtakarna rasayana kathaha katha tajajoshana asav apavarga vartamani shardharati bhakti anukramashyati. One who gets the advantage of association with saintly person by their instruction, one become more and more purified of material desires. Material desires. Krishna bahir mukho hai bhoga vancha kare nikatastha maya tara jhapatiya dhare prema birth. Material life means that one forget Krishna and that one increase one's desire for sense gratification. But if one receive the advantage of instruction from saintly person and forget the importance of material desires, one is automatically purified. Chetodarpan marjanam. Unless the heart is purified, he cannot get rid of the panges of the Bhava Mahadavagani, the blazing fire of material existence. Krishna book. Another advantage of poverty is that the first advantage is he does austerity. Second advantage is he has not much food, so his senses are weak, so he will not do violence. And third advantage is since he is more receptive of saintly person, so he will get big benefit and he will purify. Another advantage of poverty is that saintly person can easily enter a poor man's house, and thus the poor man can take advantage of saintly person's association. A very opulent man does not allow anyone to enter his house, therefore the saintly person cannot enter. According to the Vedic system, a saintly person takes the position of a mendicant, so that on the plea of begging something from the householder, he can enter any house. Householder who has usually forgotten everything about spiritual advancement because he is busy maintaining family affair, can be benefited by association of saintly person. Chakravarti Pad writes, one should not think that if the poor man has only one desire, that is enough to cause his downfall. What is that desire? To get money. He has some relief. Being merciful by the devotee, the poor man gets opportunity to hear the worship of the Supreme Lord. Thus he becomes fortunate and advance in Krishna consciousness. However, a man intoxicated with his wealth derives no benefit from association with Lord's devotees. By the power of devotees' association, sadbhi, the poor man tastes the nectar of devotion and thus loses his desire for material enjoyment. Verse 15 said that the poor man suffers due to fate, yadrichaya. But the devotee does not get suffering or bhakti by karma, for the devotee has no karma. However, the poor man becomes successful by association with devotee. Devotee meet the poor person without making effort, yujante. Since both parties are prone to wander around in solitary place, poor is also wandering and the sadhu is also wandering, so they meet one another. The word Ave indicates that they meet with poor men only, not with the wealthy man. It is rare that devotee does go to the wealthy man since his house is crowded with people. The devotees do not make effort to meet the wealthy man, avoid the poor man like other people do. They see wealth or lack of it equally, sama darshana. By associating with the devotee, the poor man quickly loses all thirst for other objects. Some versions have he shuddhyate, he means certainly. Verse 18, last of this section. Solution. Sadhunam samchittanam mukanda charanai shanayenam Upekshaihi kim dhanastambai asam asadbihi asaddarshaihi. Saintly persons, sadhus, think of Krishna 24 hours a day. They have no other interest. Why should people neglect the association of such exalted spiritual personalities and try to associate with the materialistic, taking shelter of non devotees? Most of them are proud and rich. A sadhu is one who is engaged in devotion service to the bhajate mam ananya bhak. तितिक्ष्वः कारुणिकैः सुहृद सर्वदेहिनां अजात शत्रुः साधु shantah sadhu sadhu bhushanam. The symptom of sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies, and he is peaceful, and he abides by the scripture, and all his characters are sublime. A sadhu is Suhrid Sarvadehinam, a friend of everyone. Why then should the rich, instead of associating with sadhu, waste their valuable time in associating with other rich men who are averse to spiritual life? Both the poor man and rich man can take advantage of the Krishna conscious movement. And here it is advised that everyone do so. There is no profit in avoiding the association of member of Krishna conscious movement. Narottam Das Thakur says, Satasanga chari kaino asate vilasate karane lagila karma bandha pasan. If we give the association of sadhu, saintly person engaged in Krishna consciousness, and associate with persons seeking sense gratification and accumulating wealth for this purpose, our life is spoiled. The word asat refers to a Vaishnava. One who is not a devotee of Krishna. The sat refers to the Vaishnava or Krishna devotee. One should always seek the association of Vaishnava and not spoil one's life by mixing with a Vaishnava. In the Bhagavad Gita, the distinction between the Vaishnava and Vaishnava is enunciated. Namam dushkarneo moodaha prapadyante naradhama maya pratagyanam asuryam bhavam ashrita. They are non-devotees. Anyone who is not surrendered to Krishna is most sinful, dushkriti, a rascal, mooda, and the lowest among men. Therefore, one should avoid the association of, one should not avoid the association of Vaishnava, which is now available all over the world in the form of Krishna conscious movement. Krishna book. There is a great chance for the poor man to become liberated through association with the saint. Of what use are persons who are puffed up with material opulence and prestige if they are bereft of association of the saintly person and devotees of Supreme Personality of Godhead? Chakravarti writes, the devotees never develop a relationship with wealthy man attached to his riches. Devotee give up upekshahi, the association with non-devotees, asadhabi, who are afflicted by the pride due to wealth, dhana stambai, and who associate with and serve other non-devotees, asat ashrahi. However, the devotee do associate with wealthy persons who are devoid of pride and serve the Vaishnava. Let the devotee not associate with wealthy for earning money, but let them associate to give mercy to them. Devotees are fixed in proper conduct. The materialists are fixed in improper conduct, since it is seen they indulge in woman, gambling, and liquor. The devotees see both the poor and wealthy with the same vision. Materialists see with unequal vision because of their pride and wealth. The devotees take shelter of the Lord alone since they desire the feet of Lord. The materialists take shelter of the material objects since they desire enjoyment. Because the temperament are opposite, the materialists have no attraction for the devotees. Upekshahi. What is the use of showing mercy to persons who are not qualified for mercy offered with great effort? Will the wealthy ever get association with the devotees by their wealth? Those who have good conduct, who have peaceful heart, and who knows about Atma, Samachittanam, and who desire the feet of Lord, who gives bliss which dried liberation, Mukunda, have nothing to do with indifferent persons who are proud of wealth, person of conduct, or who give shelter to persons of bad conduct. Out of the three type of devotee, out in order of the three types of devotees in increasing excellent, are all the phrase describe one type of person, devotee of Mukunda, who has a peaceful heart and a good conduct. Now, before we go further, response of Narad Muni. Narad Muni applies solution. So now he gives the curse. So before we go for curse, if there are any question or comment, we can discuss. What we have discussed is the observation of Narad Muni about the disadvantage and then his solution to that, which is poverty, and then the benefit of poverty. At least you can quickly summarize the at least 3-4 benefit of poverty, what we have heard.
The first is they perform the austerity,
So they perform austerity,
and second is their senses are weak.
the
Because of the-
senses become weak, so no violence.
And what is the third? They get liberation. How they get purified? How they get purified?
Oh, because of austerity, they are eligible for liberation. Then the third one was
association of
easily get benefit of association of sadhus. And
won't do papa, won't do harmful things.
they will not do harmful things because they have a experience of pain themselves, that they will not give pain to others. Atma upmeyena, comparing with themselves. So these are some of the benefits of voluntary austerity, like Brahmins or saintly people or the king in a Vedic system. They used to give up all the opulent life and just do austerity for purification. Voluntary austerity.
Interesting to see, Prabhuji, is the Narad Muni, he gives his reasoning before cursing.
This is called Nard Geet, the song of Nard. It's a very, very good song. Sometimes continuously classes can be given on that Narad Geet. And Narad is one of the Mahajan. These are the teaching of a Mahajan actually. And how to really, how he purified the people. He gave so much mercy to the two sons of Kubera. He said, I am Dev Rishi. I am the guide for the demigods, and they are son of demigod, and they are doing some nonsense. I have to rectify them. But how that can be done? So he thought about that, and then he reached to the conclusion that this is the best treatment for them.
Nice. Ramananda Krishna Prabhu has his hand up, Prabhuji.
Oh, whose hand is up? Yes, Ramanand Krishna ji.
Guruji, one point came that devotees, they doesn't get any sufferings or bhakti by their karma.
They don't get, that is not by their karma.
Yeah, so
The suffering of the people is by their karma, but the devotees austerity is not by their karma. This is their sweet will.
So means these devotees means Guruji, pure devotees or unified devotees? Which type of devotees?
Generally speaking, pure devotees.
Yeah.
Devotee means pure devotee. It is in first canto, Bhisham Pitama, another Mahajan saying, Pandavas, your sufferings are not by your karma. It is by the will of Krishna, just to purify you and to glorify you. This is Bhisham Dev's statement for the Pandavas, that reverses in your life is not because of your karma. It is because of the time, and time is under the control of Krishna. So Krishna wanted to purify and glorify you. So devotees, if they have reverses in their life, they immediately say, this is for my purification. It's not by my karma, but it's for my purification. Anybody else has some question or comment up till now? Or some back questions which needs more explanation?
It's a very, very comprehensive explanation on the advantages of poverty, both voluntary and involuntary.
Yes.
Because, not just like voluntary means, you take on the vow of poverty. And I was also thinking that many of the troubles caused in devotees' life is because of this wealth or too much opulence. It really takes you away. Yeah.
Money is a good servant, is a bad master. Money is a bad master, but is a good servant. If you can use the money for the service of Krishna, then no problem. But if money becomes your master, then you become proud, and then whole problem starts. Money is a Lakshmi. And, yeah, right? Money.
Does it also mean that it is more difficult to give up wealth than to give up sex life?
It appears that first money, if there's no money, then there's no much chance for the other sicknesses like woman or gambling or animal killing. They all are coming from the. They are the disadvantage of wealth. If wealth is purified, then there's all these things are purified.
Yep.
I think philosophy.
I was thinking like that.
There are two type of people in this world. One are Ravan category. They want to enjoy the Lakshmi, and the other, like Hanuman, they want to bring Lakshmi, Sita back to Ram. So Hanuman got Sita, which means he got wealth, but he brought the wealth back to the Ramachandra. So those who has a wealth and they use the wealth in the service of the Supreme Lord, then all problems solved, no problem. If say, there are two type of wealth. One wealth, Lakshmi is coming on Garuda along with Narayan, and that is very pious. That Lakshmi is very dharmic or religious. That make us more civilized in a spiritual consciousness. But the other Lakshmi which comes alone without Narayan, and her carrier is owl, and that makes the person blind. Lakshmi without Narayan is cause of pride and blindness and violence and all other things. Yes, Sundari Gopi, your hand is up.
Prabhuji, I wanted to know, since we have money, but to give that money, it is very difficult. Even what they say, you give 50%, I am struggling 51% also, because it's a huge amount. Because I came from a middle class background where we were like, 1 rupee, 1 rupee we save. And suddenly, of course, because of education, we made money. But there after certain amount, it breaks my heart. I feel I can't give.
It is, one saintly person, somebody brought to him some, toothpicks, and other gave the 50 rupees in olden days. So saintly person, one who brought the toothpicks, he gave him some simple puff rice prasad, but the one who gave 50 rupees gave them, sandesh. So somebody say, why there is a difference? He said, it is very difficult actually. You have brought the root of a tree, but this money is a root which is very much deep into the heart. To take it out is very painful. It's very difficult to give money, basically. It is very deeply rooted. But the 50% this morning I gave, I think, in our class also I discussed that 50% formula of Srila Rupa Goswami is at his retirement. It means all the expenses were already met. So he, whatever was saving, out of that saving he made the three portions. Half for preaching, half 1/4 for emergency, 1/4 for relatives. So of saving it is possible. Of income it's not practical.
Prabhuji, in our case it is practical, but we can't give. Even today we can give, and we can sustain happily.
I think the best thing this morning, I think in class, I gave this morning class in which it says Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us the very simple process. And what is that? Chanting, dancing and feasting. And it is not that wealthy people should give only money. It is better they should organize program where they should give this facility for prasad. So don't give the money, because if you give money you feel you are giving something. You organize the program in which you spend money for chanting, dancing and feasting. That is the best way to utilize money in service of Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji. We do that, and I cook also for hundreds of people.
This is the best way. This is the best way is just to organize the program, chanting, dancing, feasting, and money spent in that is the best way to use the money in Krishna's service. And the other thing is, you just keep the books of Prabhupada wherever you go, to the friends, to the marriage, or to some marriage, just give the Prabhupada's books as a gift to the people. In this way your money is properly used as a books or as a prasad. These are the two best way. The best way which you can do, and this, I mean, little bit, not too much, and it is not going to make you more worried. General principle is that from the ocean, the sun dry up some water, but not too much to dry him up. But it will give back to the ocean during the time of rain. So when we have money, I mean, if you have money, I should not take from you the money that you feel pain. No, it should be so small amount that you never noticed it, like ocean never noticed the water evaporated by sun. But the rain gives happiness to all living entities. So when we distribute prasad, it gives happiness to all the people who attend. And it's not exhausting. So it should be a gradual process, continuous process, that is better. And somebody has Krishna has given more money to build temple or something, that is a different thing. But this type of regular programs is a better one.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you very much. When my father passed away also, we give books, but especially that day we gave, and my relatives were very happy that this is the best gift.
The best gift, because you give any other thing, it will be lost, but the books they will keep.
Right.
So the giving gift as a books, some nice picture of deities or something you keep always with you, and whoever you meet you just give them. This is way your money is properly used in preaching purpose. Most of the time we don't know really that we give money it is properly used or not. This is another problem. People have a little concern that whether it is properly used or not. But you use yourself, no problem. Okay, we should finish this small section if there's no more. Oh, you have a hand up, Param Karuna?
Yes, Guru. Quite a few verses, animal killing is mentioned.
What? Animal killing?
Yeah. Persons who are rich, they end up harming, they end up killing animals.
So Prabhupada wrote two things. He wrote, but they do excursion. They go into the forest and do hunting of the deer and other animals just for fun. This is one type of killing of rich people's. This is rich people's hobby, and for no reason. And the other thing is meat eating. The two ways of animal killing, and rich people can afford to that. But no, I'm saying they are most costly amenity. So these are the all these four things rich people do, the four sinful activities: animal killing, or liquor, or woman, or intoxication. This is all the or gambling. This is a rich man's business. Poor man cannot do this.
So Nag Muni is speaking generally here because we don't hear of Nalakuva and Manigriva.
No. He is speaking generally the defects or the disadvantages of excessive wealth which give rise to pride.
And also lack of compassion, because they have no sense of other people's suffering, so they lack compassion and therefore they kill. They cause violence to others. And in the purport, it explains at least.
Animal killing may not be, but giving trouble to other people is possible. By being envious. You know, all these rich countries fighting now, this is also another killing. This is all hinsa. For no reason. It's not for dharma. It is just for prestige and power.
Also, Prabhu, there occurs for 100 celestial years. So
Yeah, this is coming now. This will come in next verse. 100 celestial year means one day on the heavenly planet is 6 months year. So 1 day and night is equal to 1 year. So 100 years means almost you can say 1 year.
6,000.
Our 1 year is equal to 1 day there. So in our 1 year there are 365 days. There are going to be 365 years.
So about 36,000 years.
Yeah.
So there were the same trees in Nanda Maharaj's courtyard.
Yeah, they were there. These trees, they were giving, they wanted, then they said, please give us this position that we can serve the Birjbasis. So these trees were there for a couple thousand years. It was in Dwapar Yuga, it was possible.
So they didn't have, there weren't other trees. They were immediately became these Yamala Arjuna trees, and they were there for 36,000 years.
Right.
Approximately.
That's what it says. These are the 3 verses we will read now, and then we'll finish for today. So, verse number 19. 19 to 22, Narad Muni applies solution. Tadaham matayora madhavaya varunya shrimadandayo tamo madam harishyami stranayor ajitatmano. This is all dual word for the both. Tad, therefore, means I, Narad, matayo, because they are drunkard. The two drunken person. Matayor means two intoxicated people. What they have drunken? Madhavaya and Varunya. These are the two type of wine they have used. by drinking liquor, Madhavya, and Varuni are named Varuni. And therefore they are Srimadandho. They are blinded by their wealth, by their celestial opulences, because they are demigods. Tamo Maddam, they are ignorant. False prestige due to the mode of ignorance. Tamo, ignorance, Madam. Harishyami, I will take away. Stranayor, they were womanizers, they are with the girls. Stranayor means because they have become so much attached to the woman. Ajitatmayo, Atmano, and they have no control over their senses. Therefore, since these two persons drunk with liquor named Varuni and or Madhvi, to control their senses, have been blinded by the pride of celestial opulence and have become attached to the woman, I shall relieve them of their false prestige. Srila Prabhupada writes, when a sadhu chastises or punishes someone, he does not do it for revenge. Maharaj Narada Muni was subject to revenge, tama, anger. But this is not tama. For Narada Muni is in full knowledge of what was for the good of the two brothers, wisely thought of how to curse them. Vaishnavas are good physicians. They know how to protect the person from material disease. Thus they are never in tamo guna. Sagunan samataitetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Vaishnavas are always situated in transcendental platform, the Brahma platform. They cannot be subject to mistakes or moods of material nature. Whatever they do, after full consideration, is meant just to lead everyone back home, back to Godhead. Krishna book. The great sage Narad therefore thought that it was his duty to put those demigods into condition where they could not be falsely proud of their material opulences and prestige. Narad was compassionate and wanted to save them from their fallen life. They were in the mode of darkness, and being therefore unable to control their senses, they were addicted to sex life. Chakravarti Pad writes, what then is the cure for their disease of pride? After considering, Narad decided on the cure and presented it in 4 verses. Madhavaya means sweet, Madhva Madhur, and Tamo means ignorance. Narad thought, I will remove the ignorance of these two demigods intoxicated with sweet wine, blinded by pride and wealth, and overly attached to woman. 3 defects. What are the 3 defects? Remove the ignorance of these two demigods intoxicated with sweet wine. Number 2, blinded by pride and wealth. And 3, overly attached to woman. So there are 3 diseases which needs to be cured, and Narad decided. Their intoxication will be over shortly, since they are permanently blinded by pride in their wealth. They will become repeatedly intoxicated with liquor. They are also addicted to women. By enjoying these things, their addiction will cease. No, it will not, because they have uncontrolled senses, mind. Verse number 22. Yadinvao lokapalasya putrao bhutva tamah pulato na vivasasam atmanam vijanitah sudurmadao ato arthah sthavaram unmovable means trees syatam naivam yatha punah Sumrti Syan Mata Prasadan, by my mercy, they will remember even in the tree farm why they are tree, what mistake they have done. Tatrapi Mada Anugrahat, by my compassion. Vasudevasya Sanidhyam, they will have an association of Krishna. Labdva Divya Sasakshate, for after 1000 years. of the demigods, because that is the time for their rectification. Vivarte sarva lokanam bhuyo labdva bhakti bhavishyati, then they will get devotion. The two young men are by fortune the son of great Kubera. But because of false prestige and madness after drinking liquor, they are so fallen that they are naked but cannot understand that they are. Therefore, because they are living like trees, for trees are naked but are not conscious, these two young men should receive the body of trees. This will be proper punishment. Nonetheless, after they become trees and until they are released, by my mercy, they will have remembrance of their past sinful activities. Moreover, by my special favor, after the expiry of 100 years of the measurement of demigod, they will be able to see Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudev face to face, and thus revive their real position as devotees. Srila Prabhupada's purport. A tree has no consciousness. When cut, it feels no pain. But Narad Muni wanted the consciousness of Nal Kubar, and Mani Girif to continue, so that even after being released from the life of trees, they would not forget the circumstances under which they had been punished. Therefore, to bestow upon them special favor, Narad Muni arranged things in such a way that released, they would be able to see Krishna and Vrindavan and thus revive their dormant bhakti. Each day of demigod in the upper planetary system equal 6 months of measurement. Although the demigod in the upper planetary system are attached to material enjoyment, they are all devotees, and therefore they are called demigods. There are two kinds of persons, namely Deva and Asura. Asura forget their relationship with Krishna, Asurim Bhavam Ashritaha, whereas Deva do not forget. Deva Bhut Sargo Loke Sanidhaeva Asura Eva Chaye Vishnu Bhakta Samarto Daiva Asura Tada Vipriyaha, Rigved and Padma Purana. The distinction between the pure devotee and karma. Now, there's no meaning to this verse. The Deva do not forget. Then Deva Bhut Sargo. There are two types of creation in this world. Sani Deva Asura Eva. There is a divine and demonic. And who are divine? Vishnu Bhakta Samarto Sura. Deva, those who are devotees of Vishnu, they are demigods. Tad Vipriya, those who are against that, they are Asura. So now, after that, the distinction between the pure devotee and karma mishra devotee is this. A pure devotee does not desire anything for sense enjoyment, whereas mixed devotee become a devotee to become first class enjoyer of this material world. Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotional service remain pure, uncontaminated by material desires, anya bilashita sunyam gyaan karma adhyan. So demigods are mixed devotees. They want to enjoy an heavenly planet, but they are devotees. Bhakti, one is elevated to celestial kingdom, means to the demigod heaven. By gyaan mishra bhakti, they can be merging into the Brahma. And by yoga mishra bhakti, one is able to realize the omnipotency of Supreme Personality of Godhead. But pure bhakti does not depend on karma, gyaan or yoga, for it simply consists of loving affairs. The liberation of the bhakta, therefore, which is called not just mukti but vimukti, surpass the 5 other kinds of liberation. Yesterday we discussed vimukti. Vimukti pad. A pure devotee always engages in pure service. Anukulyena Krishnanusilanam Bhaktir Uttama. Taking birth in the upper planetary system as demigod is a chance to become a further purified devotee and go back home, back to Godhead. Narad Muni indirectly gave Manigriv and Nal Kubar the greatest opportunity by Krishna book. It was Narad to save them from their abominable condition. In the human life, the animal has no sense to understand that he is naked. But the Kuvera was the treasure of the demigod, a very responsible man. And Nal Kubar and Manigriva are two of his sons. And yet they become so animalistic and responsible that they could not understand due to intoxication. That was their, and that they are naked. To cover the lower part of the body is principle of human civilization. And when man or woman forget this principle, they become no better than animals. Narad therefore thought that the best punishment for them was to make them immovable living entities or trees. Trees are by nature's law immovable. Although trees are covered by the mode of ignorance, they cannot do harm. The great sage Narad, though thought it fitting that although the brothers would be punished to become trees, by his mercy they would continue to keep their memory and be able to know why they were being punished. After changing the body, a living entity generally forget this his previous life. But in a special case, by the grace of Lord, as with the Nal Kubar and Mani Grieve, one can remember. Narad therefore contemplated that the two demigods should remain for 100 years in the time in the form of trees, and after that they should be fortunate enough to see Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face by his causeless mercy, and thus they would be again promoted to the life of demigod and become great devotees of the Lord. Chakravartipad writes, Narad thought, these two demigods deserve to be placed in bodies that cannot move, sthavartam, such as trees, because they are manifesting the qualities of trees standing naked, not performing any proper action, because they do not move and not speaking. But by my mercy, even in the bodies of the trees, they will remain, or they will retain their memory. After standing as trees for 100 celestial years, Divya Saraswati, they will receive darshan of Krishna, develop prem bhakti, and attain their spiritual bodies as demigods. The two born as a son of Devata have been covered with ignorance. They are naked, not just because of ignorance, but because of pride. They ignored me and thus committed offense. What is the offense? Is being naked in front of that Brahman. This attitude arose because of greatly sinful pride. Because of the faulty action, Atha, they should become trees since they were filled with the ignorance. Having becoming most poor as trees, they will not act like this again. There are many trees. They will not be given any teachings. They will remember their previous lives. They will do service to the people of Braj. Hari once says, Yao tau arjano vriksha hoto vraje satya upayachanao. The two Arjun trees prayed for service in Braj. Because Krishna is merciful to me, Narad, they will attain association with him. After 100 Devata years, demigod years, since only after that would Krishna appear. They will attain bhakti. He made his blessing because the devotee never give any blessing except bhakti. Attaining bhakti means that they would attain steady bhakti at that point. Verse Sri Shukavacha. Evam uktva sadeva rishi gato narayana ashramam nalkubero manigrava grivao astora janma yamla arjuno. Sukdev Goswami continued, having thus spoken, the great saint known as Narayana Ashram, and Nalkuber and Manigrove become Arjun trees. Arjun trees are still found in many forests, and their skin is used by cardiologists to prepare medicine for heart trouble. This means that even though they are trees, they are disturbed when skinned for medical science. Why Prabhupada wrote this? I don't know. After this, the great sage Narad returned to his abode. What is his abode? Known as Narayana Ashram. And the two demigods returned to be into trees known as twin Arjun trees. The two demigods were favored by the causeless mercy of Narad, given a chance to grow in Nanda's courtyard and see Lord Krishna face to face. This verse shows that he had come at his own will. Means Narad has come on his own will. They were born at the same time, Yamla couple, as Arjun trees. Since Arjun would also be the name of Krishna's coward friend in Brij, that they got the same name was his mercy. Thus making them Arjun tree, as described in this verse, was Narad's mercy. Narad, thinking he made the servant of Shiva. He went there to get forgiveness, or to pray that his words would come true, that they should meet Krishna. Or he went to Badrika Ashram since he was ashamed to meet the Lord Shiva directly, feeling a direct request was inappropriate. He went there to request his guru, Narnarayan, who had descended there. Or he went to see the Lord there out of devotion. He would inform his guru of what he had done by chance on the way. They were born at the same time, Yamal couple and Arjun trees. Since Arjun would be the name, that's same thing. Now tomorrow we will start from here. Lord Krishna delivers twin sons of Kubera, 24 to 28. I end here. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any question or comment?
Recording stopped.
Whenever this cursing happens, is it that the person is immediately sent to punished to his punishment, or is after his death?
It says immediately they change their bodies and become trees. It's written is like that. Narad went to the Badrika Ashram and they become trees. So it was just in the Himalaya this happened. And they appeared in the courtyard of Parjanya Maharaj, the father of Nanda Maharaj. Before that they were there and they were serving the Brajavasis by giving them shade, and many people were worshipping there for benediction. Okay, Radhe Shyam, I think Mataji has stopped. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Hey.